Justin Prince. Thank you for taking this time to review this information during this pre-enrollment phase of this new company's rollout. I'm here in my home office, so what we'll do is we'll have a couple different angles, but I want to have some of the slides overlay so you can see what we're up to and share with you what we're working on. We think that we've got something really special and something that we think has a chance to really change the future of wellness and make a really positive economic impact in people's lives. So, my wife and I live in southern Utah. That's here at my home. We have 4 kids from 20 down to 11, bookend boys, then a 15 and 17-year-old girls in the middle. I'm a daddy first, I'm a husband first for sure. I'm an entrepreneur second. I've built multiple multi-million-dollar businesses. In fact, my last business over the last 11 years did over $2.5 billion in revenue, millions and millions and millions of customers, and we paid out over $1 billion in commissions to folks like you and I. So we had a positive, economic impact on people's lives. It was a really, really positive thing. So I'm excited to share with you this next season, this next journey. You're hearing about this in kind of a pre-enrollment time, so it's a really special time to be able to hear, a story like what you're about to hear. And, that journey didn't happen it wasn't all straight up. My first business failed, below zero financially, back on credit cards, back on taxes. My pregnant wife and our 2 kids into the loft of my wife's parents' garage. I had 2 little kids sleeping in the closet. My wife and I are sleeping in the loft areas. I have 2 part-time jobs, and I started with a direct sales company chasing the dream to become financially free. So for a lot of you that you know how life is. It's not all straight up. It's the ups and the downs. And I think that all of that stuff, all the wins, all the losses, all the pain, all the joy, all the loyalty, all the betrayal, all the stuff has actually prepared me for this moment. So I'm going to walk you through what we're up to, and then you can get back with the person that referred you to this information. So my passion is unlocking human potential. It's helping someone to be the one they were born to be. And so we wanted to create a brand where we could create a value and principle-based leadership revolution. Because here's what I want to share with you. I think that our sales channel in direct sales is in chaos. But honestly, my friend, I feel like our country is in chaos a little bit. Like I feel like we need value and principle-based leadership unlike any time I've ever seen in my lifetime. So we're launching a company called Make Wellness. Make Wellness, I love this idea that we can make wellness in every area of someone's life, all these areas that really matter. So not just in their health and wellness, but in their financial situation, we can make wellness, in their homes, in their confidence, in their courage. Like we can help someone to really step up and to be well in all these key areas. It's a brand that I think we can create a real revolution, a real movement around, where we can make magic happen and make health smarter and make communities thrive and make better leaders, make minds sharper, make bodies healthier. Our story with Make Wellness is built on 2 things. It's built on science and on nature. And so you'll hear some of the latest breakthroughs in what's happening in the world of science. And then also, it's a story built on Mother Nature and the soils and the plants and family and the elements with the water and joy and family and authenticity. We've put together an incredible team of people. I think we'd all agree at the end of the day, no company is going to be any better than the people that own and operate the company, their vision, their integrity, their know-how, etc. We started with really 2 premises. Premise 1 was no jerks allowed. I feel like life is too short, man. I feel like it's not about where you go, it's about who you go with, and I wanted to work with people that I can uplift, that can uplift me, and that we can, mutually benefit each other in a positive way. Second thing is people that have been there and done that at the highest level. Henry Ford said you can't build a reputation on what you're going to do. You can build a reputation on what you've done. And so we put together an incredible team. I'm the founder of the company. I feel like I have a unique perspective in the direct sales world and a unique ability to really connect with people. And the reason why is I feel like I've been all the different levels in direct sales. So, the level where you're just working really hard to make any money, the level where you're working really hard to make a little bit of part-time money. I've been all of those steps, and I've been able to pay for dance lessons with direct sales income, or pay for basketball shoes, or pay a rent, or pay a mortgage. And so I understand the struggles that I feel like folks really go through in direct sales. Truman Hunt is our chairman. Truman Hunt is the former CEO of Nu Skin. Those of you that are familiar with Nu Skin, Nu Skin's a 40 plus year old, gold standard, publicly traded, multi-billion-dollar a year direct sales company. And Truman was there for 21 years. He was CEO for 14 of those years. He helped that business go from $700 million a year in revenue to over $3.2 billion. In fact, as a publicly traded company that had over a $6 billion market cap. Truman doesn't need to do this anymore. When you're the CEO of a company with a $6 billion market cap, you did it. You did your duty. At the same time, he was also the former chairman of the WFDSA. That's the World Federation of Direct Selling Association. In other words, it's basically the governing body. So he worked with all of the top, whether it was founder owners or CEOs across the world in our sales channel. Bob Finnegan is our chief marketing officer. I've actually worked with Bob in the past. His whole background is actually in retail. He is a branding and marketing savant. And I say that with no hyperbole. This guy is so good at what he does. In fact, hopefully you'll see some of the branding as we walk through this. Man, he was instrumental in helping us create that prior business model. So we created a model 12 plus years ago that really helped to move the discussion forward. In fact, it kind of disrupt the way direct sales was done with much more of a customer acquisition model. And he's the one that named it. He's the one that created the give-get codes. He was the one that created a kind of the customer acquisition machine at first. And so he's just a really brilliant mind. We have an entire team of scientists, chemists, people that we work with on the science side, PhDs, etc. And then our CEO, we will announce at our event in November. He's finishing up some contractual obligations with his former employer, and we're really excited to be able to announce him as well. That leads to the products. So my friends, here's what I'll share with you. It is not easy to find blue ocean products in the wellness space. It's kind of like everything's sort of done. In fact, as we would go through these different ideas, we had some really cool ideas, but they were kind of like, at the end of the day, kind of like my multivitamin's better than yours, or my stick pack's better than yours. I was like, oh my gosh, I just wanted something that was really special. And I felt like we could go build a great business, a multi-$100 million business, even with just, good or, average or good products. But candidly, I was like, man, if I'm going to get back in this game, I want us to build a multi-billion dollar business and have a platform where we could do tens of billions of dollars in revenue, have the potential to go pull that off. And so the platform that you're going to see today is not a product launch, it's a platform launch, and it's with peptides. Now, here's the thing. As you're watching this, some of you are like, I'm already on peptides, and some of you are like, what's a peptide, right? We probably have a range of knowledge. Here's a couple quick ways to think about peptides. First thing I'd encourage you to think about is if your DNA is the lock, peptides are the key. So a simple way to think about peptides is they unlock your DNA to up and down regulate, basically to work at a higher level. The second way I think is beneficial to think about it is Andrew Huberman is the Stanford professor, has a very famous podcast. He says that peptides are the wedge between pharmaceutical drugs and nutritional supplements. So in other words, they're not drugs, but they're also way more effective and way more efficient and way more efficacious than an average nutritional supplement. So that's kind of an interesting way to consider peptides. I've been on peptides now for 2.5 years. They completely changed my life. Here's the challenge, though. The challenge with peptides today is that they're synthetic chemical compounds made in a lab. Most of them you have to take through injection. And I think for a mass market person, you're going to struggle to get mass market adoption when people have to do needles, right? Some of you listening are like, that's me. I don't want to do needles, right? They're expensive. They're kind of in that millionaire stage. Innovations go from fringe to billionaire to masses. They're kind of in that millionaire stage where like only the people that can afford the peptides are getting access to them. And then they're just complex. You need a doctor thing and watch the blood panels and work with a nurse. It's just the usage is complex, the dosage is complex. And I remember thinking, how are we going to scale this thing? At first I was like, do we do like a telemed model? Where like you call a doctor and the doctor, you do a blood panel and the nurse calls you back and the nurse sends you all these insulin syringes. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds like the worst business ever. I do not want to do this. And so we started thinking, what if you could have them come from, what if there's peptides from nature versus from a lab? What if you could ingest them and run them through the gut versus injections? You could get rid of the needles. What if they were affordable versus expensive? And also, what if they were easy and trustable? What if they actually worked? And my friends, that led to our story. So check this out. We have partnered with some of the very top research labs in the world. These are labs that are using artificial intelligence platforms, data platforms, to identify and to isolate and to do human clinicals on peptides from nature. And so the concept is that Mother Nature is the ultimate biochemist. Think of this. Her pharmacy is the natural world. I think even intuitively, we all kind of know that seems right to us, that somehow all the answers were already there. It's like God figured this thing out, in the beginning. But until they had these AI platforms, they couldn't get access to it. Because here's a way to think about these AI platforms. One of the chemists and scientists says to me, says, how many peptides do you think there is in nature? I was like, brother, I have no idea. 300, 500, I have no idea. He goes, there's trillions. There's trillions of peptides in nature. And so think that there's trillions of keys, and then there's, let's call it 700 different systems of the body, 700 different locks. So these AI platforms are finding which key fits which lock, Once they find it, they can identify it, isolate it, and do human clinicals to validate what could happen in the human system with these natural peptides. And so our story that we're taking to the world is what we call bioactive precision peptides. My friends, this story is the future of wellness. This idea of bioactive precision peptides, in other words, nature-based peptides with precision. Think of it this way, this precision concept's important. A lot of times in nutrition, what we've done for years and years and years, it's kind of maybe a crude analogy, but kind of like a carpet bomb approach. We put a bunch of vitamins, a bunch of minerals, a bunch of stuff into a thing, a bunch of vitamin A, and threw some D in there and some Bs, and just hope it lands in your system and you're deficient somewhere, and we just get enough in there to hopefully help you. With precision, we can go after really specific systems of the body, really specific receptors. So these are cell signaling peptide ingredients that are derived from nature. They're natural versus synthetic. They're already familiar with your body chemistry. They're ingested, not injected. You don't have to use needles. They're affordable, they're potent, and they all have human clinicals. So if you think of antioxidants, if I said, have you ever heard of antioxidants? Of course you'd say, of course I have, right? 25 plus years ago, Nu Skin, the company I was telling you about earlier with Truman Hunt, they went out and commercialized and mainstreamed that term. They went out and educated the population. This is what we do in direct sales. We go educate people on what we do. And so Nu Skin went out and educated that. They did tens of billions of dollars telling that story. If I asked you, have you ever heard of essential oils? You'd say, of course I have, right? The doTERRAs and the Young Livings went out with their sales leaders and commercialized and mainstreamed that, the essential oil story and did tens of billions of dollars in revenue. My friends, we're going to go to tens of billions of dollars in revenue, mainstreaming the story, generally of peptides and specifically of bioactive precision peptides. Part of what got me fired up about this is in direct sales, we have a little bit of a phenomenon that I'll call a pop and drop phenomenon. Pop and drop means, I don't know, you hear about a company, they're like, super hot, everyone's talking about it, and then 6 months later, like, I don't even hear about it anymore, right? It's kind of a pop and drop phenomenon. Well, one of the reasons that happens is because you'll have, like, for example, a weight loss company, cool little weight loss system, it's super hot, and then all of a sudden it fizzles, and they say, don't worry, everybody, hang in there, the next big thing's coming, and then they launch skincare, or the skincare company launches weight loss. It's almost like the record scratches. People are like, what are we talking about again? The duplication scratches, the story scratches. Well, imagine we go build the biggest sales force in the world, right? And we are marketing bioactive precision peptides. That's the story, that's the theme. But then we have different product verticals, these multi-$100 million or potentially multi-billion-dollar product verticals, whether it's sleep or energy or stress or weight loss or beauty or longevity or hair care. All of these different, so as the one story wanes, boom, you got their next story. As that one wanes, boom, you got your next one. Because no story goes straight up forever. Like Apple changed the world with their iPod and their iPhone, and guess what? None of us are going to go buy an iPhone 1 anymore. So you have to stay relevant, you have to stay innovative, you have to stay cutting edge, and we can do that with this platform. Let me walk you through very quickly 4 of the 6 products we're launching this fall. So we're going to launch 6 nutritional products. Let me walk you through just 4 of them really quick. The first one, all of our products are based on I am statements. So how cool is this? The products are, fit, lean, energized, focused, hydrated, calm. They're all based on this idea of like, I am fit, I am lean, I am energized, I am focused. I like to tease people, I'm like, how many people do you know that do not want to be fit, lean, energized and focused and hydrated? It's like, sign me up for all 5 of those, let's do this. So FIT is an incredible product. It has a blend of peptides. We actually created an exclusive relationship with this lab. This lab is just one of our partners. They have been at this for just under 10 years, and they have just barely under $100 million of venture capital money behind their lab and behind all their research with these AI platforms and all these ingredients. So with FIT, this product is really interesting because what it does is it helps you to both maintain muscle mass and then also build strength, build muscle mass. And here's what I want you to know. When you hear muscle mass, do not let yourself get stressed out. You say, I want to stay lean and fit. Listen, the most important thing you can do for your anti-aging is to retain muscle. It's like the ultimate anti-aging elixir. It doesn't matter if you don't have to be a bodybuilder or a CrossFit superstar. Like normal people like us, we have to maintain our strength. Why? Because that's how we'll age really rapidly, is when we start to lose our muscle. What is so powerful and dynamic about this product is it can help you with your recovery, help you with your maintaining of the muscle, and also help you to build muscle and become fit and active. We also have lean. This one I'm so excited about because how many of you have heard of like Ozempic, right? So Ozempic, as you know, is a peptide that pharma took to use for diabetes, and it just so happened that it was really dramatic and positive for people in weight loss. So then they created semaglutide, and then you've heard of Mounjaro and tirzepatide. So these are all peptides that are being marketed out there and people are losing weight on, right? The challenge with Ozempic and semaglutide, et cetera, is that about 40% of the weight folks are losing, about 40%, is actually coming from muscle. You don't, like we just talked about, you don't want to lose your muscle. And so with this product, it is really dynamic to help you to both lose some of that extra weight, but not lose the muscle. In fact, 100% of the weight on the human clinicals, 100% of the weight that folks lost was actually from fat, and specifically visceral fat. So check this out. 65% from their midsection, an average of 2 inches off the waist. They were eating about 600 calories less per day. It helped to regulate what's called your ghrelin and your leptin, which is your hunger and your satiety hormones. And so people were just, you weren't having those ravagingly, hunger, spikes that we sometimes will go through. Focused, man, I'm excited about this one. Focus is actually is designed to help you enhance focus, concentration, and memory while decreasing brain fog. It improves cerebral circulation, which is basically your blood flow and your oxygen to the brain. This product is really also interesting because it actually helps with your blue light. You know how we're all looking at our phones and our screens all the time? It helps with helping our eyes to get more focused as well. And then Energized, this is a product designed with clean energy both mentally and physically without the jitters or the crash. So it helps to increase serotonin and dopamine levels. It supports adrenal gland function. It helps to balance your cortisol levels. And it has a production of natural ATP. This one has natural caffeine sources from berries that are from coffee berries. So this one's a really interesting product as well, kind of your daily use. We have 2 others, I Am Hydrated and I Am Calm as well. From a packaging perspective, my friends, I think we can do some super fun stuff to wow your customers. And that leads to 2 last quick points. First is the model. Here's what I'll share with you. 12 years ago, I sat in a room and helped to create a model that really disrupted or at least moved the conversation forward in the direct sales world, where it wasn't just a self-consumption model where reps, all consumed the product and we got an override. It turned into a much more aggressive customer acquisition model, and that's really where our profession went in these last 12 plus years. What I want to share with you is this. I'm not done. I've got big plans. I've got a lot of unfinished business. We're going to go launch the business model of 2040 in 2024. First, that starts with compensation, because compensation is like the other side of the coin. You have your business model and your compensation and your business model. It's like if one's off, the other will be off. If your comp's off, because people they're like water. They'll flow downstream. They'll find the course of least resistance. They'll find their way to the money. You never see water go upstream. So the compensation structure in most direct sales companies, and I say this because with nothing but love, but my friends, we are way too complex. We are way too complex. In fact, I think a lot of us get our checks and we look at it at the end of the month and we say to ourselves, I sure hope this company calculated this properly. I have no idea how this thing even works. I've helped to design the comp plans and I'm not even completely sure I understand how it works either. And so imagine how our poor neighbors feel. We can't keep trying to just get access to each other. So the future of direct sales is not, you and I calling each other being like, hey man, does your company suck? Well, mine sucks less than yours, so come join mine. Listen, if that's what happens, our sales channel is going to continue to decline. We have to introduce the modern networker and the modern affiliate to our plans. And so this compensation structure is simple, it's understandable, and it's explainable. It has a natural and a normal progression. So here's what I want you to think about. Most comp plans, we say stuff like this. Is this going my left leg or my right leg if it's a binary? By the way, I tell people, friends don't let friends do binaries, okay? Number 2, they'll say, how many legs do I need? Do I need 3 legs, 6 legs, 12 legs? We've gotten rid of all forced width requirement, all forced leg requirement. People will say, how much can I count from my max leg? Can I count 63% from my max leg? I just want you to know all of our weird language that we do, bless our hearts, it is not going to move the modern affiliate, the modern networker. It's like we stand in the hotel lobby with each other. We say, yeah, I recently lost a leg. And then the hotel worker's like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And we say, listen, it happens all the time. Don't even worry about it. Because we speak kind of this, we speak English and network marketing, right? We've been able to get rid of all forced width requirements, all max leg requirements, where people can actually build starting with a 1-level affiliate and progress into a team building and progress into an override on all of their revenue that they have in their entire organization. And it progresses super naturally and normally. where they don't feel like they ever were part of a weird thing. That leads to the no emblem lingo or acronyms. How many of us are familiar with, like, you sell a $100 product, right? And then the company pays you 60 points. You have like 60 CV. So it's like you take your dollar to the arcade, you put it in the coin thing, and it gives you not 4 quarters, it gives you 4 tokens. And you're like, oh, I can't really use these tokens anywhere but here. And they translate our dollars into points. Basically, every company does this, and it is a real challenge when you're trying to talk to a normal person. When someone sells J. Crew jeans for $100, guess how much their commission's based on? $100. They don't. It's not translated into J. Crew points for them to do it. So we just turn people off. They don't get what we're talking about with our OP and our CP and our QV and our GV and just all this kind of goofy lingos that we do. This is a plan built not only for today, but for tomorrow. That leads to the business model. Here's what I want you to know. We're building a system where people can actually succeed on their phones. Like, for reals. We all talk about duplication. I used to think duplication in my early years of networking was like a unicorn. It's like the kind of thing we all talk about, but no one's ever seen it in real life, where you can create real duplication, real actual success with real tools and leverage that are all app-based. James Clear wrote Atomic Habits, and he says you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So done-for-you content libraries, built-in AI platforms to help you with your content, shareable cart, and a leadership academy. My friends, we're going to develop the next generation of leaders in our country. And we're going to have a huge impact in the world by doing it. That leads to the community, the culture of the community. Here's what I want you to know. My passion is to help you to be the one you're born to be the one that lives a life, writes a story that future generations know who you are, that your life makes an impact and makes a difference in the world. And if we help you to be the best version of yourself, what we're going to do is we're going to strengthen your home, 4 walls of your own home. Mama steps it up, dad steps it up, that kind of thing. We strengthen the family. We strengthen the family, get the house in order. That's how we're going to go strengthen the local community. People are like, I want to change the world or change the country. It's like, man, you got to start with the local community. Starts with us, our family, our local community. We help to do that. We'll go build the next generation of the police officers and the firefighters and school teachers, the folks that are running our churches and our charities, our senators, our congressmen and women, people that are entrepreneurs and our employee bases of our local community. We'll go have an impact in the local community. That's how we're going to change our country, and that's ultimately how we're going to go change the world together. Just to wrap up, I'll share with you this last story. I was in Costa Rica with John Maxwell. John Maxwell did the foreword to my book, Be the One. And it was a small group, it was about 8 of us. One of the people in our group was a woman named Barbara. She was his former assistant when he was a young pastor, 40 plus years earlier. When he was 27 years old, she moved away. She and her husband moved to Washington State. And she gave him a book as a parting gift called The Greatest Story Ever Told. And he excitedly opens the book, but there's no words. The pages are all blank, and he says, Barbara goes, there's no words to the book. She goes, John, turn to the first page, and she had handwritten him a note. Here's what the note said. John, your life is before you. You go fill this book with kind words, good deeds, and matters of the heart, and you go write the greatest story ever told. So over the next 3 days, he writes down 3 vision statements. And I want to share these with you because to me, these are vision statements as we're launching into Make Wellness. They're vision statements I think I'm pulling a lot of inspiration from. Number 1, he says, I want to make a difference. It's a simple statement, but it gives a lot of clarity what you want to do with your life. Number 2, with people that want to make a difference. And number 3, doing something that makes a difference. So my friends, as I think of this next season of my life, I'm 43, so I have enough gray hair to have a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of experience. And then I've also got all the hunger and the fire and the passion and the drive. I feel like I'm in the prime of my life. This next season, I want to make a difference. I want to do it with people that want to make a difference. I want to go do something that makes a difference. And that's what we're going to go do with Make Wellness. So if this message resonated with you, please get back with whoever thought highly enough of you to share this with you. Let's get whatever questions you have answered, and we'd love to have you come partner with us. We're doing our pre-enrollment now.